Good evening. My name is Mutt, and I promised a question and answer video for Patroclus. I did not promise that I would stand in front of said video, so instead you are getting a wonderful view of my cat Gracie and Simba, who she just randomly attacked a minute ago. You all missed the drama of that. We were not having this thing. That is not Carrot. That is Simba. You play with your baby. I keep mine. Alright, he's got quite a few, so let's get started on Patroclus immediately. What do you want to happen the most in RP for Patro? Go. That's a really good question. There are things I want to happen, I have no idea how to have them happen. English, I cannot apparently do at this time in the morning. Sometimes I want to delve more into his history, to his flaws. I've actually started going back to figure out that Patro is just a little too perfect. I think, in my personal opinion, I feel like he wasn't human for a human. That's a whole nother subject, because that actually adds to it. But, I kid you not, one time I actually thought about killing him, but instead of becoming a god like Achilles did, because Achilles is already a demigod, it only makes sense that he would be able to earn that right. But for Patro, I was thinking I really wanted to extend upon the idea of how he got out of the afterlife. I still sometimes pester myself with that, because I have no idea. He has no idea. If he does, he sure as hell ain't telling me. I have arguments like this all the time with my children, so yeah. All my imaginary kids and beyond. Other things, I sometimes really, really want to confront him about his parenting issue. Not that he thinks he's a bad parent, but the fact that he doesn't want to father kids. He's a hypocrite and messed up in his own personal head like that one. But he won't mention it. And in fact, I didn't mention it. This is all a lie, a dream, and so on. I'm always up for fluff. I kid you not. Aki Patro fluff. Shh. Yes. I know that he and Sadie are getting a little bit closer. Kind of like how, Segment and Achilles got closer. I'm kind of happy to see him finally kind of get close to somebody. Of course, granted, he will always fucking love Achilles tenfold if that's his heart, his life, and beyond. But it is kind of fun. He's cute. It is cute. Casey is cute. Is he cute? I don't care. I'm sleeping. Question from Sadie is what is the meaning of beloved in ancient Greece? I've heard many things. Have you only ever had one beloved? That is yes. That is not a sentence, but yes. What is the meaning of beloved in ancient Greece? I think in Patroclus' case, beloved is just his endearment to Achilles in the sense that this is the person who has helped make him who he is, help mold him, make him happy, make him normal. I mean, I'll be honest, in the long run, Patroclus is like 50-50 normal. I really have started to figure that out. It is like the strongest term of endearment. To him, it's more important than the word lover, it's more important than the word significant other. It's his heart and soul. And has he ever... Really, he's had only one true beloved, and that is Achilles. He does not... That's sort of... I guess that's really not the word he throws around. I may have to backtrack on that in case I have not checked my post to see if he said it before. But if you are called, like, beloved or something of that nature by him, then you are very, 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 very close to him. If not a lover, then most certainly a dear, dear friend that he will fight tooth and nail for. So, there you go. As far as it meaning in ancient Greece, I really don't know. I've actually haven't really studied a lot of linguistics in Greek. I've studied a lot more in Latin and their personifications, things like that. I would like to learn Greek, but that's a completely different story. Next question, because he's got quite a few. Which I thank you for that. You know who you are. What do you think really makes Patroclus so drawn to Achilles? I can answer that! It is his personality. It is his ability to be devoted, his ability to understand Patroclus, his ability to tolerate Patroclus when deep down he kinda is an asshole. He just doesn't show it very often. Is the fact that Achilles loves him even when Patroclus does not want to love himself. I think that's what makes him drawn to him. He's drawn to the warrior, he's drawn to the kind and caring lover, he is drawn to the man that is known as Achilles. Strong, powerful, forgiving to him, and just perfection. Perfection is the only word he can think of. How does Patro manage to always see the humanity, the good in him, I'm assuming Achilles, when there doesn't seem to be any left, or when he's at his most ruthless and cruel? I think he's able to see the humanity, because at the same time Patroclus has to remind himself that he is human. That makes no sense. Let's try this again. Because, well, I guess really simply put, not to sound completely cliche, but because he loves him. And he also has grown up with him. He has seen kinder sides. He has seen him at his worst. He's seen him at his best. And it doesn't matter what amount of worst he's seen, he knows by this point what makes him happy, what makes him tick, how to... I'm shaking my camera, sorry about that. How to basically keep him calm. And as far as Patroclus goes, it doesn't matter what you... Don't you dare! Dang it! Gracie! No, it's not yours. Simba stays away from you now. Everyone to their separate corners. Yeah, you started it. You. But basically, Achilles has always been human to him. Even as a demigod, even as a god, there's just part of him that will always remain human to him, which is just, he sees him as a higher human than most. So, flawless perfection again. How does Patro really feel about his father? He's very conflicted. Very conflicted. There's this part of him that cannot stand the man, because the man didn't really offer a lot of friendly advice other than, why can't you be more like Achilles, or this is why you got us run out of our town, killing is bad, shame, shame, and so on. But at the same time, he's still with that Greek mindset, even now, that the child must always obey their father. They are a direct bloodline descendant, they are very important to the familiar line, and that a part of him still wishes he could be as good as his dad wanted him to be. Like, he hates being criticized for shit, I've come to realize. And he will, sorry for swearing, it might slip out like time and time again. But he just, there are times where he just does not feel good enough. And he wants to blame it on his father, but he basically blames it on himself. So he's very conflicted. He both hates and adores him, like a good Greek son. So, I would say, there's just, yeah. Grumpy child, grumpy child. Did Patro ever look to Peleus as a father figure, or was that position more reserved for Chiron? Or for no one? That's a good one. I never really thought about him and Peleus. He definitely saw Chiron as a father figure. Here's a man who taught him how to heal. Here's a man who taught him how to hunt and train. Peleus, yeah, I can see him doing it as a father figure, but more importantly as a protective figure. He had a son who helped take him in. He took him in, basically. He took him and his father in. So this is a man who was willing to absolve him of all crime, or at least look over said crime of murder, and let him know that, you know, I guess shit happens. I mean, he could have easily just made that kid keep going. Just took his father in, told him that your son is a disgrace, get rid of him. I mean, there's a lot of... Getting rid of kids in ancient times, as anyone can tell you, was not that bad. Or not that hard. I mean, I guess Patroclus would be dumped immediately because he's his only son, but if he had like a brother, that kid would have been dropped off the face of the planet. I kid you not. I mean, that's basically a case of, we have another one of you, we don't need you, you fucked up, you bad child. Go to orphanage or go get killed or something like that. Here, have a lion. I'm sure he'll enjoy eating you, or something like that. I mean, children were important, but if your child really screwed up and looked bad in your family line, you sure as hell didn't want that. It's only if you had no other kids. So, yeah, he saw Peleus as a slight father figure, but much, much more as a protective, encouraging figure in his life. Chiron is most certainly his father figure. If Chiron were just to walk up right now, he would just throw himself, and I'm astounded he never really called him Dad. Granted, he calls Peleus Dad now, even though he's not here, just because, married to Achilles and whatnot. Makes sense. How does he manage to put up with Achilles? Really, how does he have so much, I can't read, patience for him and put up with his tantrum and his rants and his ridiculous notions about things? Patro doesn't always see them as ridiculous notions. He will take the time to listen and figure out, is this worth it? Is this something that needs to be done for the kingdom? Is it good for the kingdom? Or is it good for them? Or is it good for some other people? Patro is patient because he's able to practically be patient with anyone but himself. But, let's see. Stop going to sleep, computer. I'm reading you. Let's see. How does he manage to put up with Achilles? He adores him, and he's grown up with them. By this point, he just has to know how to put up with them. He knows that when he's going to be listened to, and when things are just so haughty, or things are so heated, haughty, what word? So heated that he cannot do anything at that moment, or he just needs to be strict. That's the joys of being the older one. You can totally look down on the younger one, no time. Doesn't matter if he is a god. But he's grown up being patient with them, even when he was younger and quiet and probably being drug around a few times to do this and do that and see the city with Achilles. It's just, he just grew up with it so much that he doesn't have to put up with Achilles. It's almost second nature that he knows these kinds of tantrums and talks and things like that. The only time it may irritate him, obviously, it irritated him in the Iliad, to the point where he was just just give me the armor and let me go. Just sit, fine, sit, I'll do this. He kind of gets like that. That's probably the angriest you'll ever really see him around Achilles, unless something gets pushed off. There was that one period, I believe, where the magic hand had him with the demon blood, and at that point, Patro was actually getting really pissed off. It was just don't start with me. So, yeah, other than that, he's just used to it. It's not like he has to put up with anything. To him, it's just, this is just one of those little mood swings, and this is how I handle it, and it will be taken care of immediately. I'm sorry if my answers get scattered. My brain scatters thoughts, and it all makes sense for 1 minute, and then it just doesn't, so I apologize. But it all makes sense in the long run to me. But, okay, does he ever still think about that game of dice? He thinks about it a lot, actually. Every time he's not feeling really good, and he unfortunately gets that trait from me, he will not tell you if he is really, really, really upset, unless it's really bad. But he sort of uses it as a reminder, I guess, that he needs to hold his temper in. He needs to settle things calmly. He needs to try to bite his tongue if somebody says like one wrong thing. God forbid you ever tell him his cooking's wrong. Don't do that. That is a bad thing. That is a bad thing to do. He will snap back. So, yeah, he does think about, he thinks about the friend he killed. Again, this all goes back to, he still thinks of his father and the things his father told him and didn't tell him and reminded him that you fucked up, son, and things like that, basically. He also still thinks about it because he still likes to gamble. When he's on these little traveling trips, sometimes when his mind's wandering and he's not happy the fact when he's traveling and feels like he's doing a disservice to his family and to his husband and to his people, he'll basically will go into a tavern and drink and gamble. Not healthy. Not good. And it usually winds up with either sometimes a bar fight that he doesn't mention about, because Chione can come in. If he doesn't break it up, Chione comes in there and just like bust shit up, because the girl still thinks she's full lying. Or he simply just gets a little unruly and then finally storms off. Goes hunting. Has to kill something. Usually it's an animal, thank goodness. Occasional robber. Let's see. If Achilles were to die, would Patro take another lover? And would he continue to reign over Thessaly alone? He would certainly continue to reign alone. I don't necessarily know if he'd take another lover. If he did, I'm probably a little bit surprised. And two, more importantly, he would never marry again. That is a given. Achilles is his one and only, but he would have a hell of a bit of a depression, so I don't even know if a lover would want to put up with Patro. Those 3 days that Achilles is gone, he started to become a little cunt. Which is, again, sorry for all the language. He just did not want to listen. He didn't want to care. The only time he ever calmed down was around his children, but that's because he doesn't want to be a really, really bad son of a father. A really bad father. I don't think anyone would want to handle him, because I know we have seen, like as mentioned before, Achilles had tantrums. We haven't really seen Patro have them, except for that one time, and when he did, I believe, Sek was one of those who managed to talk to him. I believe she just put up with his stupidity, because he was acting like a brat. I understand he was grieving, but he was acting like a brat. Gabriel, when he was still around, he knew that Patro was being not all there. I believe Sadie was trying to talk to him, Sadioshi, and that's pronounced correctly. Always correct me if I'm wrong. Well, afterwards. Fact of the point is, I'm recording this. But had Sadioshi kept pushing or something, he probably would have swung out. I'm not going to lie. He probably would have hit somebody. He was getting there. He was having moments where he was struggling with his other side. I like to call it Rage Patro. I think it's an awesome nickname. But as far as taking another lover, I'm not sure he could. I'm not sure he could emotionally, mentally handle another lover. Or, more importantly, I don't think another lover could handle him. So yeah, he would continue to reign over Thessaly alone. I think we would just hope that it would be a good reign. I don't know. He might turn into a total Caligula style, only minus the sex and more violence. I probably won't tell Achilles the answer to this, but come on, Patro, you gotta be spending your time with someone, or many someones while you're traveling, right? Sometimes you're gone so long, and you're a guy, so... He is not, actually. He thinks about it. I mean, he thinks about it, but Patro... I've literally got the sexuality. I've got, like, so many minor details, all my characters handled out. And Patroclus is a pansexual. He likes people's personalities. I think that's the pansexual. I can't remember if I think it's in the in-depth. Anyone can correct me. I tried getting this from my my friend who's in psychology, but she also tried explaining this kind of thing at like 4 or 5 in the morning. Art people don't sleep. But I believe that's the one where he has to be highly attracted to. They have to have a very attractive personality, I believe. Which, I mean, come on, how can you not be attracted to a personality like Achilles? It's loud, boisterous, and confident, and it's just. I mean, he granted, he's completely okay with any gender. He's gender blind, basically. Maybe he's not pansexual. I can't remember what it's called. But, he has to really like the person in the sense that he just has to like how they act, how they speak to him, if they respect him. It has to be more than just pretty. They have to be interesting. And the number of people that have actually interest him, I can probably count on one hand. The only problem is, like, 3 of them friend-zoned him really fast without even realizing it. So that shuts down really fast, and he'll just swap over to, okay, well, we're just really close people. We're just close friends. And like I said before, he is starting to get a little bit closer to Sadayoshi, but he has not slept with them really on Tumblr. So, and he has not really seen anyone while traveling. He almost thought about going to her house, but he just can't bring himself to do it. He'd just rather go home. He'd rather curl up with his husband and just be happy. He's actually a real grumposaurus on these trips lately. Ask Chione. Does he ever want to have... Whoa, that's a good one. This is evil. Does he ever want any of his own children, regardless of how they come to be? The answer is no. He does not. And it's really kind of sad, but he's really conflicted. It's complete hypocrisy on his part. But he loves the children they adopted. He loves the child that Achilles is father, or any child that Achilles is father. Patroclus does not want to father children. He has this skewed, messed up idea that he's not technically good enough. That part of him that was basically beaten into, well, not technically beaten into. Well, I don't know, it was ancient Greece. Let's hold that phone on another day. But it was basically wired into his brain that he was not always good enough, that he doesn't think, he wouldn't use the word genetically, but he does not think he would be a good carrier as a father. That something that shares his blood, it would be just as not good as him, or would be completely flawed as him, or have as many temper, or possibly have a temper issue like he tries to hide. Don't die on me, Razor. It's just... And a part of him does, though. I mean, it's only natural. You have, you know... It's also wired in him because that's what he grew up listening to. You want to grow up, you want to be a soldier, you want to be the perfect man, and you want to have kids because you need to carry on the family line, so on and so on and so on. So yeah, there's that part that really wants to. And then he knows that Achilles would probably love to see like a dark-haired little green-eyed baby that looks almost like Patro, but it's really hard for him to get over the idea that he's just not good enough. Like, he wants to be good enough, but at the same time, he feels he isn't good enough. Again, these are all things he will not admit to anybody, so if you ask him about it, he just will be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, you crazy. Who's his favorite child? He loves all his children. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. He loves all the babies. He thinks Achilles is either fathered or picked them. They're perfect. You're all perfect is what that is. He does not distrust his husband's decisions in anything, especially when it comes down to the acquirement of their children, or who they are, or where they're from, or how they're being raised. As long as they don't kill another child. Hello, there's some war flashback. There's some bad flashback for you. But, yeah. War flashback. Yes, because he totally fought a war at the age of 5. Oh my goodness. It's 3 a.m. Let's see. So he doesn't have a favorite child. He's proud of all of them. He wants to hug them all now. Well, I'm making him sad because I'm not technically online. Oh, crap, I need to charge my computer. Which does he like more? Traveling to go to these peace talks, fighting along the battle, or healing the wounded men during battles? Traveling, not so much. He does it because it needs to be done. He does it because it helps make his husband happy. He does it because he is a king, and kings need to do these sort of things. But he would definitely fight along a battlefield 10 times more because it's what he's grown up doing. Being idle has actually not been good for him. He technically does on these trips, and he, again, will not say it, but he pursues thieves and hunters. Well, not hunters, killers. Yeah. Thieves and killers, pursues them, and kills them. Or he purposely sets camps really close to the trail so as to lure them to him and then kills them if Chione doesn't kill them first. He does enjoy healing the wounded men during battles because he was trained to be a healer, and he's actually very, very proud of his healing skills, which is why he gets kind of irritated or really, really concerned if people he has tried to heal don't heal right away. It really bothers him. He has to be a good doctor. He has to be perfect. He's messed up so much already in the past that now he has to be perfect in a sense. And at the same time that he has to be perfect, he also has to remind himself that he's human and makes flaws. He contradicts himself so much. But he just does it all internally, and he will never, ever, ever talk about it. So, yeah, he'd actually rather be fighting or healing. He goes on the peace talks because they have to be done, somebody has to do it, and he's pretty confident Achilles would not enjoy them very much. But lately, he's getting a little fight hungry. But again, I mean, think about it. You do this every day. You get taken out to the woods and to train as a kid, and then you go to war, which is what you're used to. Granted, you died in it, but we try not to think of that. And then all of a sudden you're doing peace talks. That would be like me getting to draw every day, which would be awesome, instead of working. And then all of a sudden, the last second, somebody hands me, I don't know, a computer and tell me that I have to type everything. Which, fine, I can totally type everything, but when you're used to one thing, it's just like, this is not going to work for a long time. I can do this at periods at a time, but there are going to be some breaks. Why does he like Achilles so much? No, we both know, well, I guess 3 of us know, me, you, and Achilles, that he could do better. Even if Achilles loves him with every fiber of his being, we all know that he's put Patro through some ridiculous shit. Because Patroclus loves Achilles with every fiber of his being. And granted, Patro has not put really Achilles through anything, but Patro hides everything. He's like, it's almost like that perfect little housewife. It's kind of creepy. I think that's one of the things that I always kind of wondered about when I first created him, when I was first doing things. I was thinking, man, he's kind of flawless. And so, this may wind up coming up in 2 videos because my battery's dying. Son of a cat. But, he does love Achilles. And just as much as the thing he's been through that we would consider ridiculous, they're not ridiculous to him. They may irritate him. Well, not completely ridiculous. The whole tantrum over the woman thing, he still kind of does not like to think about. Things like that. Yeah, the one there's a whole, war at stake and your people are losing. That was a thing. But otherwise, he finds some of the other stuff. Like, if it was something minor, he actually finds it funny, and being funny, he finds it adorable. So, and endearing, I guess would be a better term for him. I like the word adorable. But yeah, he loves Achilles just as much as Achilles loves him. It's very mutual. And he likes him. He was always fascinated by how he was when he was younger. The fact that he was fearless, even as a child. The fact that he could tread into anything. Or the fact that he had no problem speaking his mind. It's just... he's just always been in love with him. He's never seen a reason to not be in love with him. Yeah, not sure he could be in love with anyone else. I mean, this is a guy who probably helped mold him into what Patroclus is. Because before, he was starting to become this quiet kid that got told a lot, that he was, but he really wasn't worth it, I guess. It's not really worth it, because he wouldn't completely downsize his son because that's his only kid. But he would probably give him some really hard time, especially after that whole murdering and being, kicked out of the city, and nobody likes that. What was that sound? We have crazy things on Thursday night, so this is why it's weird if it's happening now. It's Wednesday. Well, technically, semantics. But even through the ridiculous things, you cannot make Patro say that he doesn't love Achilles. It would have to be Achilles slaughtering their children like Hercules that would probably knock him off. By that point, Patro would probably blame the other gods and just try to go after them. Like a boss. His true opinion of Thetis, go. If Achilles is willing to forgive her, and she acts nice, Patroclus likes her. Otherwise, he really doesn't. He didn't like the fact that she tried to hide him from war. He didn't like the fact that she basically tried to interfere with everything, and he's not, I don't know, roleplay with Thetis, and she was really nice and things like that, and he was like, okay, I am willing to give you a chance. But if she was still in the sense that, I don't know, I'm trying to find the words. They're all 50,000 of them in my head, and I can't even put them in a coherent sentence. I guess he sees her as a mother-in-law. Stereotype. Depends on how she acts. I guess it's really what it comes down to. If she's acting nice, and Achilles says she's acting nice, and she acts good to the kids, he'll tolerate. He'll actually be happy. He'll probably like her. If she's getting all up in Achilles' business, if she starts criticizing Patroclus, or if she is not entirely loving of the children just because they're not all technically of blood kin, he'd probably get pissed off and will just go off on her. He will curse and swear and possibly try to, he would try not to swing at her because she's a woman. But he would not be friendly. Especially if you push him too far. He will scream and curse and just go off. He will go rage Patro short of destroying somebody. Otherwise, he's fine with her. It's just, he is very cautious because he wants to see how she acts first. And this one is for you, Mike. Yay! I know for me, it's always really exciting to incorporate things I've learned in school into this RP, from This time period and whatnot. What do you think about that? You know, too much classics things to not apply it to everything. I love it. I love the fact that I'm still learning it. Even what I learned in school, I go back and try to find new books and try to find new things. I actually have a Mothering and Motherhood in Ancient Greece and Rome book right in front of me still that is probably overdue. Whoops. And I have a Augustan period in Ancient Greece book around here, because as much as I love Ancient Greece, Augustus Octavian, that's my man. That's my Roman Empire right there. That's my boy. But I love doing it. I still want to learn Greek because of it. I would love to not have to rely on Google Translate. I really need to start relearning my Latin. It's gotten so rusty. It's terrible. I'm ashamed. But I want to try to find articles and things like that that talk more about the Iliad and, like, the people. I'm really huge on actual civilizations. I need to learn more about warfare, actually. I know a little bit, but I know I can learn a lot more. On the plus side, I love researching it. That's the fun part. It's a search and find of hell and back, and it's awesome. So it's entertaining, it's exciting, and I'm still learning to do more, so if something ever seems like it kind of slightly changes, don't think I'm doing it just because I want to change it. No, I'm usually doing it because I've learned something new, and I'm like, oh, that would make more sense. Oh, that works great. That works better. This is totally awesome. I need to use this now. I'm not patient. I'm patient if I have things started from the beginning, but if they come mid-sem, they will get put in. This is why, like, things I've created take 6-7 years for them actually to have stories. It's ridiculous. But it is so awesome to find new things. Does it weird Patroclus out that Achilles has both sets of armor? His original set and the new set, to which the original belongs to Patroclus now, aww, and the new set is his. Does not weird him out at all. Actually, it's really common. Considering that, body armor, I know in Rome, and I'm pretty sure it's in Greece, were usually molded out to fit the person's body. You didn't really see it being traded. Well, at least upper class, lower class, I'm pretty sure it was, I believe it was very just, generic shape. But yeah, a lot of the richer upper class could have it molded to their form. So it's not like you can just sell it. You could sell it to somebody who would smite and smelt it and burn it down and so on and so forth. But you wouldn't just find someone else buying this up. Which, you know, all things considered, it's kind of funny when you think about it, because that means Patroclus and Achilles almost have the same body type for him to wear it. Or I guess he didn't really wear it entirely comfortably. I don't know. Things to think about. No, he's not weirded out by it at all. You're talking about people who keep wax funeral masks with their previous families. So, keeping a set of armor, that's not odd. Keeping a set of armor that would have been attached to a body, that might be some cause for concern. But keeping both sets of armor, nope. Could be almost considered the same thing as a trophy. Which, now that I think about it, I believe Patroclus had that guy's head bronzed, and I'm sure it's somewhere in the castle. That's something to be concerned about. That's a worrying. That's a red flag. Or, I don't know, maybe it's normal decor. Again, more things to research! But no, it doesn't weird him out at all. And, I like the idea that the original belongs to Patroclus. As long as we don't think about that he, you know, killed in it. Well, that just got dark really fast. Next question. What did Patroclus ever forgive Hector? Yeah, I can see him doing it. He's not nearly as pissed as Achilles is. Because, this is going to sound really bad, but Patroclus knows that he's eventually going to die. He just wasn't too proud or too happy that he died as quickly as he did, or as early as he did. But at least he did it in battle, so he can't complain about that. Yeah, he does sometimes get concerned about where he's going in the afterlife. Before he died a warrior's death, he doesn't know what he's going to die as now, so does that put him back in the previous paradise, or does he simply just wander with the others in Hades, yada yada yada, go on. So yeah, he would totally forgive Hector. And he would definitely get between Hector and Achilles because he sometimes would worry that Achilles would try to kill Hector again. Would try, yeah, he would. I'm sure. Who does he hate more? Hector for cowardly taking his life, or Paris for cowardly taking the second. Patro is more than willing to put up with the idea that he is going to die. He still knows this as a fact, and he still thinks about it, but he just doesn't care. He's human. He's going to die. That's what people do. Or at least that's what mortal humans do. They're born, they live, they die. So the fact that Hector did what he did, it annoys him, but he would not be nearly as pissed, and it certainly is not as hateful as he is to Paris for killing Achilles. So yeah, as warned, my camera died. But, to pick up, yeah, Paris. He's way more hateful of Paris. You don't kill the love of his life. Not without severe consequence. If Hector had not killed him first, if Patroclus had seen Paris kill Achilles, he would have gone through any sort of need, any sort of rage mode, whatever he had to do to, like, just blow through and kill Paris. Didn't matter if he died afterwards. That would be the thing. That'd be the target. The whole world could just blow up, and as long as it waited long enough for him to kill Paris. Can we see more Rage Patro? I would love an excuse to use Rage Patro. You don't understand. I don't know why, but I like flaws. I like happy moments, and I sure as hell love bad moments, too. That's why I have a schizophrenic character on one, and I have one with an anger issue, and I have one with Rage Patro. I need an excuse to use Rage Patro. Yes, I want to see more. Can we see more? Please, for the love of God, somebody help me RP this. Somebody help me figure out something. Things that piss him off. Things that he does not like. Being overly criticized. Hurting his family. Pissing off his family. Trying to hurt his family. Bringing up his dad continuously. Reminding him of what he did in the past. Yeah. Yes, I want to see more. What was Patroclus' childhood life? Before and after he came to Pythia? Yes. It wasn't perfect. It was mostly uneventful, but not really perfect. Before, it was just really quiet. Mother died young, probably childbirth or shortly after, maybe a year or two after Patroclus was born. Just him and his dad. Dad probably was grieving, may or may not have. I'm pretty sure he probably did. Took a little bit out on his son that you took your mother, sort of thing. You know, this is what you did, look what you did, batch out. Especially when Patroclus started showing issues of, like, not always being a good kid. I mean, come on. He was young when he started gambling, folks. And I can tell you, in both periods, over excess, it's a little more common in Roman than Greek, but, well, I don't know. Greek was actually technically the quote-quote more closeted in some cases. People think giant orgy parties. No, that wasn't a thing. That actually was very, very rare, very, very few in between, and usually kind of looked down upon. They weren't exactly welcome. It meant you had no control, and you were barbarian shit, kind of thing. Haha, I have two barbarian characters, technically, so this just makes it funny. But he kind of got a little bit of flack of of sort of playing a role in his mother's death, even if he didn't do it actually intentionally. I don't know what word to use here. And the fact that he did start getting into, like, underhanded things like gambling, probably drinking, but then again, most Greeks and things like that were drinking by the age of 3. It was common to have a cup of wine on your 3rd birthday to celebrate that, congrats, you lived. this long. But, and when he started doing things like that, he probably got in trouble and was pretty much told that you're just not being a very good son, you're not doing this right, good sons do this, you're being a bad kid. So yeah, and then afterwards, after it was good and bad, it was great every time he was with Achilles and Peleus. It was wonderful, because those are the moments he could be happy. Those are the moments that he was basically being told that he was a bright kid, that he was really calm nature, that he's really well behaved, and then behind closed doors it was a lot like, why can't you be more like him? Why can't you be as strong as him? Why can't you be more social like those kids out there? Why can't you... Patroclus was actually a really quiet kid at first, because he kept being pushed down, that it was getting to a point where he was going to probably snap back as he got older, maybe not in a very positive way. I mean, he killed a kid over dice. God forbid he hit his teenage years around his dad alone and possibly kill him and then be executed, because that's not always a good thing. But then he meets Achilles instead, who basically encourages him to come do this, come do that. I personally believe, like, I was trying to get that in the little drabble I wrote with Seaside, where he's basically hiding off by a temple by himself, not wanting to be seen, not wanting to be spoken to, didn't know how to swim, so he sure as hell wasn't going to go near the water. But then Achilles comes along and pulls him up and makes him, basically start talking to him, figures out why he's hiding from the beach and things like that. That's kind of what it is. He was just a really quiet, always pushed down kind of child. And if he hadn't met somebody who was like Achilles, who was willing to pull him out of that shell, he probably would have been just a tinge of nerves that, I don't know what would he have been like as an adult. So he's just a quiet, constantly ragged on kid who was only happy when he wasn't around family. Do you think that the way we portray them is canon to the myths, and or the many other sources regarding their relationships, including or not including all the various debates? I think it's really canon to the myths, in my personal beliefs. I think, because I will go on I can't really go on a huge canon debate, because I find things that can be canon that most people don't find things to be canon in other fandoms, but that's because it's really messed up. I won't even go into that conversation. Let's just say artistic license is very big, and writing license is what I keep hearing my writing friends preach. It's interesting. But as far as to the myths, I think it's very canon. I think if it could have been elaborated, I think we'd do a pretty hella good job. I don't know about all them other people, but I think we're doing damn good. Anyone who says otherwise, bite me, I don't care. I think we've both done a really good job finding sources regarding the relationships and creating a push-pull relationship that I think is believable, can easily be seen. I think it takes debates into account and other sources. And actually, I think I have actually yet to read the Song of Achilles book, but I feel like if we had written it, damn it, it would have been 10 times better. That may sound conceited. That's the most conceited you will ever hear me be about my characters sometimes. Because I'm actually really, really fucking humble. I'm that bad. I will be like, if anyone trashes my friends, however, I will personally come after you with a pickaxe and God knows whatever. What else? I have like 3 X-Acto knives. I have really got a problem with this collection. Things like that. But if you insult me, I'll just be like, okay, and just not give a fuck. I'll take in consideration if it's a good, honest critique, but if it's just insults, it's just not that important to me. I won't be like, no, I just won't care. I won't talk to you. But as far as canon, hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah. Especially when we go in the relationship as more than just fighting companions. I think they're amazing. No one can tell me otherwise. You can tell me otherwise, I just won't pay attention. All complaints will be fed to that cat that's sleeping in front of you. And I believe that's the last one for Patroclus. In his 2-video. I wonder if I can splice them. I wonder if I can splice them on an editor. We're gonna find that out in a minute. But, yeah. I hope it was slightly entertaining, or at least informative, or you enjoyed just staring at my cat. Sorry about the break in the video. It died. That's all I can say about my camera. And hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night. Peace out.